Right, so we're returning to our story on how Nigerian scientists are calling for more support to be able to help the nation deal with its rising food insecurity situation. And Joseph Bukugakpo, who put together the report, has returned from Nigeria, and he's going to be telling us what it is that Nigeria is doing. So, Joseph, tell us about the situation with food insecurity in Nigeria and the West African sub-region and what is being done.
Well, Israel, the Nigeria situation is a little bit more worrying because a number of things are fueling that particular situation, as we found out when we visited places like the Kano state and the Kaduna state in Nigeria. And, there are huge concerns about insecurity. The main point being that farmers step out to the farm fields and then all these bandits, marching cattle, then get onto the farms, destroy some of the foods, and in some of the instances, attack some of the locals in the areas. That's one of the main points that we are told is creating a bit of the insecurity situation. Incidents of kidnapping.
Right, we're having a challenge.
Which is not allowing farmers
Joseph's
to step
connection.
out of the situation.
All right. Go ahead, Joseph.
Yes, Israel, just to round up on that quickly, issues having to do with climate change and the negative impacts of it when it comes to the rainfall patterns was also really highlighted. And then the COVID-19 pandemic, another, because then at a point in time, Nigeria is one of those countries, just like a lot of countries in West Africa, that's very much dependent on food imports, spending about $5 billion importing food annually. And during moments of lockdown and all, and logistical challenges, moving food across the world, all of these virtually conspired to then make the food insecurity situation there a bit more severe than the nation had seen previously.
Now, how does the Nigerian situation compare with Ghana?
To a very large extent, very much similar. Here in Ghana, we've had concerns about difficulty in getting access to inputs like fertilizers, and that has been raging for a number of weeks, something that is to a certain extent attributed to the unavailability of funding in order to purchase this. But to a certain extent, government has been blaming the COVID-19 pandemic and making the point that that is making it a bit difficult to access and import fertilizers into the country, because then a lot of the companies that import the fertilizers are not exactly doing as much of it available as possible. So that's obviously something that compares with the Nigerian situation. There have been concerns about the rainfall patterns to a certain extent. We are very much dependent on rain-fed agriculture instead of having irrigation facilities. Again, that's also a similar situation that you find in Nigeria. And Ghana, again, is also very much heavily dependent on food imports. Our annual food import bill stands at around 1.5 billion US dollars, although for a lot of those foods, we have the capacity to produce very much locally. So the situations are similar, not just in Nigeria, not just in Ghana, but across the ECOWAS sub-region, which is how come the push is happening, that in terms of dealing with some of these challenges, a sub-regional approach is what is needed rather than individual countries doing some of these things on their own. And those were some of the things that we sought to explore when we went on that particular visit, in terms of what countries like Nigeria are doing that other nations could possibly replicate to help deal with their food insecurity challenges.
What is one of those things that you think that Ghana should be replicating?
Well, investment in the sector, more investment in the sector. We all know that to a very large extent, farmers make the point that they get some subsidies when it comes to fertilizers and all, but then the support that they end up getting is not enough. A lot of the farmers are subsistence folks who only grow only as much food to feed themselves, and throw off a majority of those because then there are concerns about post-harvest losses. So one of those issues that are being propounded have to do with the fact that we need more investment in terms of the logistics associated with farming, just beyond the production itself. And then the conversation happening around improved seeds that farmers need, because then in Nigeria, for example, at the Ahmadu Bello University in Nigeria, they've developed improved seeds, including cowpea seed varieties, which have increased resistance when it comes to pest attack. And then they're developing what they call the teller maize that has improved capacity to resist the impact of drought. And for a lot of the scientists in Nigeria, these are some of the solutions that they are exploring that Ghana and other West African countries could also possibly take advantage of. Israel.
All right. Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo.